You're listening to This Day in History, the 28th of July. I'm John Erie. On this day in 1914, World War I began as Archduke Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary and his wife were assassinated in Sarajevo, Bosnia. Due to pacts signed by the countries in the region, one after another sided with Austria-Hungary or Serbia, and the First World War was on. It happened during the Great Depression in the United States on this day in 1932. So-called bonus marchers began their move on Washington, D.C. At first, there were 1,000 World War I vets who camped in vacant government buildings or open fields. That number swelled to 20,000. They were veterans who wanted cash payments for their veteran bonus certificates. They were unemployed and in a bad way financially. There was a vote on the issue in Congress. The House said yes, but when the Senate said no, many of the marchers would not go home. President Herbert Hoover ordered the Army to evict them all. Led by General Douglas MacArthur, the Army set the camps on fire, and the veterans were driven from the city. The year was 1943, and Hamburg, Germany would remember this day forever. On July 28th, more than 42,000 civilians were killed when Allied bombers dropped mostly incendiary devices on the city, causing a firestorm during World War II. The firestorm occurs when the fire gets so intense it uses up all the oxygen in the air and sucks up more to create hurricane-force winds. The fire then moves even faster. It was 1959, and on this day, the British colonial secretary publicly stated that Britain will not shirk its responsibilities in Africa following attacks on the government's conduct. 51 Africans were killed by security forces in Nyasaland, and 11 Lao prisoners died in the Hola detention camp in Kenya. She was born Jacqueline Lee Bouvier on this day in 1929. She was also the wife and future widow of President John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. He was assassinated in 1963. She later married Greek shipping magnate Aristotle Onassis. As Jackie O, she became a successful editor in New York. She was also considered a fashion trendsetter. In the World War I veterans put their hope in the U.S. government to save them from the Depression. Their hopes were dashed. In Romans chapter 5, verses 2 through 5, Paul says, "And we rejoice in the hope of the glory of God." Not only so, but we also rejoice in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. He goes on to say, this hope does not disappoint us. You've been listening to This Day in History. I'm John Erie.
This is the Bible for Children series. A father gathers and sits with his children outside their home to tell them stories from God's Word.
Well, children, last time we were under the story tree, we talked about Peter when he first started following Jesus. No true follower of Jesus can keep from growing. After spending time with Jesus,